Nice to meet you, and thank you
Nice to
for
meet you.
your time.
Thank you to you.
Thank you. Pouvez-vous nous pitcher, nous raconter un peu Voice of Silence?
So can you please tell us the story of your movie Voice of Silence, please?
I'm thinking, should I go for a short version or a long version? But I'll just say like more of a topic. This is a story of survivals of individuals who want to be a valued member of a tough society. So there's two criminal who happen to be in a crime that they unplanned. They basically kidnapped a young girl and have to find a way to go back to their old life. Yeah, that's the Sorry that my experience is a bit.
Le scénario du film est issu d'un concours de la Biennale à Venise en 2016-2017. Comment s'est déroulée l'écriture et la concrétisation du projet pour arriver jusqu'à la production du film?
So your script was made during the challenge of Biennale of Venice because you participate in this event. So how was the writing process? I mean, how did you felt about that, and how your script became produced and become real?
That program was amazing, first of all. I mean, I'm just telling all my colleagues that they should actually try. Originally, when I had a first draft, because you have to have first draft and a producer attached to apply to the program. And when I was applying, I just had a draft that I wanted to make. And the biggest, the best thing that I've learned from all the tutors in Venice was how to get rid of all the unnecessary characters and unnecessary bits and leave the core of the story. So I know that the program is actually designed to make a very low budget film. So it makes sense, but even without that, they have very specific process of basically deconstructing of the story. So every day they were asking, do you really need this character? I mean, what does this character's purpose in this scene, and what do you think this scene is for? And because they're asking questions that I've never asked to myself, because in your head you think that, oh, this scene is really important, but in reality, when it comes to making the scene and film, you really have to rethink and find a way to first not waste your money and time, all that. So I think probably in terms of the heaviness that the story that I had originally became I wouldn't say it's just light, but like content is that the word? Yeah, it became very solid, and I just thought that before this program, I thought, I mean, this is something maybe I become super lucky, then I can make it. But after the program, I thought, I mean, this is small enough and really, it is something that I can really make. So that was the script developing side of it. And while I was, developing the script, they were suggesting, because from the beginning, they were very honest about, because the film is set in Korea, that we don't really know how much we can help, but we will do our best. And they were basically connecting me to some producers who maybe was related to Asian films and film industry and all that. So they were really actively looking for producers. If they're not producers, anybody who related to film industry, so I could actually, you know, have an open door. And I mean, in the end, the film investment didn't come through Venice. It was the British producer that I worked with in Venice. He actually managed to find somebody in America who introduced me to Korean film industry. So it was a lot, you know, complicated after that. But yeah, if I don't think people in Korea would really had a look at my script if I didn't went through Venice as well. I mean, it's kind of sad, but in a way it is true that it's when you have some sort of, I don't know if you can call it title, but because you have that name, people are more, you know, willing to, at least that's how I felt. They were more, you know, open to read script and gave me advices and all that.
Okay, thank you.
Comment est venu le choix de vos acteurs et aussi d'avoir un des personnages qui soit sourd dans le rôle principal?
So how did you choose your actors to play in the movie, and why one of your character is deaf?
I didn't choose them, they chose me. I mean, they were the actors were really popular and big in Korea. So not even in my dream, having them as my character, I was like, I would laugh like, what are you saying? But I thought, you know, I mean, this became a commercial film because it got investment, like interest from the investors who usually invest in commercial movies. So I thought, why not just try, you know, who knows? And Eui-Jong was my dream actor. Even now, like I think he's amazing. And we thought like, why don't we just try? And we sent the script. And I know that there have been many people between me and him to deliver the script to him, because I know that there are agencies and, you know, all these things, but to be the script that, you know, to be placed in his table, I know it's gonna take time and many people. And miraculously that happened, and he really liked it. And with him, Changbok, the older character, he's also quite big in Korea, and he was interested in too at the same time. So I was like, what is this miracle? So that's how it happened. And you asked about the what was the second part of the question?
Why one of your character is deaf?
Deaf. This story actually started with a short script that I wrote, and it was about two people. One of them was a guy who really wants to speak, and actually he speaks, but the society doesn't want to hear him, so that his word becomes like a smoke, so nobody hears him. And I wanted to have that script because even though you want to say something, if the society doesn't want to hear you, then what's the point of speaking, you know? Because, and in the short story, the people around him start to hear him once he says something that the society wants him to say, like a man should speak like this, man behave like this, so that he becomes the man that society wants, and that's the only way that other people can hear him. But what he says is not really him. And the same thing goes to the other female character that I've been writing. So I thought, I mean, this is interesting. Maybe I should write into a feature. So I had one male character who, well, not speak because, you know, speaking doesn't really matter if other people wouldn't, you know, willing to listen. And a girl who, again, speaks something that she doesn't really want to say, but she has to survive, even in her home household. So that's how I decided to make these two characters and make them meet. So that's why that main character became a deaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Votre film est ponctué de haïkus, petits poèmes courts comme agence dans le ciel pour emmener loin dans les nuages. Est-ce pour accentuer la charge poétique du film ou un trait tout simplement de la culture coréenne?
There are some haikus in your movie, so this is short poems. For example, in your movie, there is a sentence, its company in the sky brings you far away in the clouds. So it is to put forward the poetic side of your movie, or this is a trait of the Korean culture.
I'm not sure if it's a Korean culture actually, because I'm trying to think of other films that does this. Maybe they do, and I'm so blind I don't really know. But I am very into it because I guess I am so accustomed to make short movies. When you make a short films, you have so much thing that you want to say, but you have such a small amount of time and place. So somehow you have to find a way to express the theme, underneath the plot. Maybe there's another layer of a theme constantly, traveling with the plot. And because again, it is a low budget film, I had to find a way to show the theme, theme comes out in the surface, while the plot is going, without making audience jump and like, what is this? I wanted to have a quiet theme kind of, jumping out here and there throughout the film. And I wanted it to become a pattern because again, this film isn't really a commercial film in a traditional term. So I thought, and the theme that I wanted to have, because the plot should say that these people are criminals, but the tone and manner, you have bright skies and humorous people and very kind people, should tell audience that these are not evil. So that plot and the tone are basically going the separate ways. And that was the thing that I wanted to try. And that's why I thought the theme kind of have to jump in and bluntly show what it is. And that's one of the examples, I think, because you said haiku, but I think when the film starts, you have a big poster or painting, should I say, work hard and better future, that kind of very propaganda poster. And those are the same stuff, for me at least. That's how I used to throw themes here and there.
Est-ce que vous avez une date de sortie à l'international pour le film Voice and Silence, tout particulièrement en France, soit au cinéma ou soit, ce qu'on préférerait moins, mais sur une plateforme?
So do you know if your movie will come out in theaters in France, or maybe will come out on streaming in other countries?
I heard that they are talking with the European buyers. I don't know if anything is set. And for Netflix, I know that they have a plan, but because the film is now, it has been released in different Asian countries. So them being on cinema, I don't think Netflix would have that deal would start. So I think it will take some time if it's, I mean, for Netflix, I don't know exactly when, but we had that, I heard that they are thinking of this. For example, where was it? One of the Asian countries, I think exclusive Netflix, it was released on Netflix exclusively on that country. I forgot which country, maybe it was Vietnam. I don't know, but yeah, something like that. Maybe there is a chance for exclusive, that online for certain countries, but I'm not sure exactly yet.
Okay.
Comment avez-vous appris votre sélection au BIF et quelle a été votre première réaction?
So how did you learn that you were selected for the beef, and how did you react?
Obviously, I was screaming because I mean, we all know that this festival is awesome, and actually, because I studied film in Europe, I mean, in London, so I had some friends from there, and we wanted to, well, not all the time because we're poor students back then, but yeah, traveling to film festivals were, again, I guess it's a filmmaker's dream, no? And second thought was like, damn, COVID. And I thought like I could have been there if the situation was better, but people are dying, so I'm not really complaining. I'm just happy that having more platforms for the film to be, exposed, it's just a great opportunity, because this is a very low budget film, and having any kind of exposure is great. So thank you for I'm just thanking them so much about this opportunity.
Votre film nous rappelle la beauté des films de Koreeda, l'impertinence des films de Bong Joon-ho. Quelles sont vos inspirations au cinéma?
So your movie remembers me the movies directed by Koreeda. Or for example, the family thematic present in the Bong Joon-ho's movies. So what are your inspiration, and do you have some references in cinema?
I do have some references, and I think that because I was born in Korea and raised, so without me even noticing, I'm sure that great Korean filmmakers, they probably first influenced me a lot. I can't really pick a film for that, but I am sure that it's just embedded in my head, and I just naturally think that this is how it should be done. But that's actually, came from our older generation filmmakers in Korea, and I'm grateful for that. But when I talk about reference, I always talk about Romanian film directors, because at least in my opinion, Korean directors and Romanian directors, they have very weird sense of humor. When they describe a very, horrible situation, they still carry this humor that keeps characters alive, and keeps the story interesting. They don't really make a story that is, making you constantly suffer because it's so dark. And I mean, there are some dark, violent movies in Korea, but the films that I love, they always have this balance of, in terrible situation, people, find a way to survive, and that surviving process always have funny moment, like Death of Mr. Razanescu. I don't know if you know that film, or Christian Mungiu, Christy Puyu, Corneliu Porumboyu. I forgot the other ones, but yeah, those Romanian directors are really. It has been always interesting, and I found a great similarity with Korean cinema.
Pour terminer, par curiosité, connaissez-vous le film français Le Grand Chef d'Henri Verneuil, avec Fernandel, qui était une star du cinéma français populaire dans tous les sens du terme. C'est un film de 1959 signé Henri Verneuil, un des duos faits avec Fernandel pendant plus de 9 films, qui a le même thème de départ que votre film.
We are curious, sorry, but do you know the French movie Le Grand Chef, directed by Henri Verneuil with Fernandel, made in 96? Sorry.
59 years.
The dates are really complicated in English.
No worries.
1959, because you know this movie has pretty the same starting and the same theme and topic than your movie.
I haven't watched this movie, but as soon as I saw this question, I thought this movie I should have watched before then. So I'm gonna look for it. It's a quite old film, but I guess it has kind of a blues theme then? You mean music, right?
No, about the topic of your movie, you know, about the story
Oh,
of the two men.
topic.
Yes,
Yes.
the same topic.
Ah, okay. No, I thought the theme, I thought it was a
About
music
the
theme.
musical.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, sorry. Okay, I'll definitely look it up. I was not really fortunate enough to have access to many French films. When I was growing up, the only films that was I could reach out were, you know, Godard and all this like super famous. I'm sure Henri Verneuil is famous too, but I don't think. Well, first of all, I didn't really study film in Korea, and when I got to really study film and start to watch a lot of non-Korean films, there weren't many French films at that time. I don't know why, because I was just looking for, I just fell for East European films most of the time. So, but definitely I will look it up and watch Le Grand Chef. Thank you
Because
for letting me know. Yeah.
our team will be really happy to send you the movie Le Grand
Oh,
Chef. So
really?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
please. Because I was thinking like, I actually looked it up and I was like, how can I find this movie? And yes, please.